Greetings, fellow reselling addicts. Thanks for returning for another episode of eBay the Right Way. Today's date is July 13th, 2022, and this is episode number 69. Today's guest is Kim Womack from Texas. And yes, a lot of Texas sellers out there. It's a really big state with a lot of people. Before we cut away to our chat, I have some fan mail, and this email is from Linda. I wanted to share this because it really made my day and made me feel like I'm doing my job helping other sellers. So Linda's email said, I want to let you know your training videos do more than just inform us of the ins and outs of eBay. We have a family member that is extremely ill, which is taking a lot of our time and money, and because of this, our time devoted to finding items for eBay has been put on hold. And items presently in the store are not moving much. But one bright and shiny moment is when your email arrives with the videos. We look forward to them so much, and they help take some of the stress away, even if it's just for a few short minutes. It makes us feel as though we are almost normal. I love your many different backgrounds, looks, costumes, music, and funny comments. The $100 fines and bigger are so interesting to see what people are lucky enough to obtain and sell. Thank you so much for helping us through our tough times, even though you didn't know you were doing it. Keep up the good work. Brighter days are coming for all of us, we hope and pray. And I just wanted to give Linda a shout out and thank her for that lovely email. I appreciate it so much. The backgrounds and costumes she is referring to are my bi-weekly bulletins where I am on camera, and the content is more relaxed and laid back, yet still informative about the world of eBay. Some of those bulletins include BOLOs that I have just discovered like that week, and I'm really excited about. So yes, even I get excited about treasure hunting and learning about new items every single day. If you are not a member yet, use coupon code 2022 free trial $. It's also below the podcast, and try the premium library for free. Come and see what you have been missing. So thanks again, Linda, for sending that testimonial. I really do appreciate emails from listeners and students. It keeps me going, and I welcome them anytime. Okay, and now for the chat with Kim.
Okay, listeners, today we have Kim with us, another Kim, and she is located in what city?
Actually, Corpus Christi, Texas.
Right. Okay. There's so many Texas sellers. Big state, lots of sellers. So, and I hear the thrifting's really good there. So
It is.
no problem.
We have lots of items. We're on a beach town, so you just never, swimsuits all year round. So
right.
You never know what you're going to find.
Yes. And I'm doing my mid-year inventory, going through everything. Like I want to put my eyes on every item at least twice a year to make sure it's listed. And bathing suits were the first thing I checked because it's that time of year, but it's really any time of year.
Yeah. Right. They sell all year.
Okay. So that is a good tip. Tip number 1 from Kim in Corpus Christi. Okay, so we usually start off with how you got started on eBay.
So we were, my husband and I have done this for a long time. We were early adopters. We were from the age of money orders and checks in the mail before you shipped anything. And really, we started eBay in 2001 pretty steadily because my son was born and we needed extra money. We had Nathan was 10 weeks early, very premature. And so we needed the extra money because we had so many medical bills. And so that's kind of how we started. And of all things, we sold ceramic molds, the largest, heaviest things you could ever imagine. And but it was very odd. We had someone gone to a garage sale and they said, "Oh, well, we're trying to sell all these are $1 a piece," and sometimes we would get up to $200-300 on an auction for one ceramic mold at the time.
So what is it molding? Like for baking or jello or what?
No, it was old time ceramics like you think of in the 70s, where they would have a mold and you pour a slip into it and then it dries and you fire it and you paint it and all that kind of thing.
Okay, like at ceramics class.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So we did, I know, very odd, but we converted our garage and we literally paid Nathan off in three years.
Wow.
We did 2 different buyouts. And then once he was paid off, we kind of, didn't do ceramics anymore because it was very heavy. Shipping was a challenge. But not a lot of people did it at the time. So we had really a very unique niche. And so from fast forward to now, really anytime we've had challenges financially or things that we just need to downsize, that eBay has always been our go-to. And so about 5 years ago, my son was getting ready to graduate high school and he is special needs. And so we were trying to teach him to do eBay because we felt like it would fit perfectly with what his skills are. And so we started and then my husband and I just we love it. We just absolutely love it. On Saturday mornings, we go out, we get a breakfast taco and some coffee and we hit the stores and it's our kind of date night, date day kind of thing. We just love it doing together. And so Nathan really never took interest in eBay. I mean, from time to time he has, but not full time. And so then when COVID hit, the whole world went upside down. I was in a government job that I was working about 12 hours a day.
Oh.
And I was missing a lot. I was missing a lot of my family. I would just worked all the time. And I didn't realize at the time how miserable I was. And so I had the opportunity to leave on good terms. And we made the choice to downsize. And so we went from a beautiful home on an acre, huge, down to a rental house that we had kept many, many years ago. And so when we downsized, I stayed off for about a year and kind of detoxed. And then during that time, we really ramped up eBay. And eBay paid for all of our Cobra expenses during that time. And Cobra is not cheap.
Right.
And so, and fast forward to today, I have a very low key job. I say low key. I work at a school district in administration. I absolutely love it. I get off more time than I should be allowed to be off. And I do eBay pretty much full time also.
Okay. That's a great story. If you just rallied and figured it out and you and your husband going out and doing that, the family that thrifts together stays together.
It's interesting sometimes because he'll pick something up and I'll look at it and I'll be like, no, sit that back down.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah. So it's, we have a good time at it. And now, I've set some goals and I can retire in 5 years if I want to. And so our daughter's fixing to go off to college next year. And so my big eBay goal is to pay cash for a car for her to go off to school.
And that
That's
is
a big
very
one.
doable. Yeah.
It is. It
Very
is.
doable. Good for you.
And so, and then after the car, we're going to try to cash flow college for her so that she
Mhm.
doesn't have, student loans like my husband did.
Yes.
And, we want to do it right. We're very much, when we downsize, we have no car payments. We have, it is very much, if something happened, we would be okay.
Oh, I love not having a car payment.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. It's
car is
freeing.
2008, but it barely has 100,000 miles on it because I just don't go. I don't drive a lot. I've set up my life so everything is nearby, and I don't have to drive a lot. And it's just nice when I paid that off. What, like 7, 8 years ago? It's just, oh, I'm just going to make it last. I don't care what I'm driving. I mean, it looks nice. I mean, it's not like an old beater or anything, but that is just not on my list of needs, because, $50,000 car gets you there the same way as a car that's paid
Yeah.
for.
And I agree. The last one that we bought cash for a used BMW of all things.
Mhm.
And it's I love the little carts, they'll cross over. And I think it's just so funny when I pull up in the thrift shop in my little BMW and they just don't even have any idea that, I paid so little for it that it was
Right.
unreal.
And what year is it?
It's a 2013.
Okay.
So it has some of the bells and whistles, but we
Mhm.
only paid $4,500 for it. I'm
Right.
a bargain
Yeah.
shopper, so
Well, and the other day, my little car is becoming more and more valuable. The other day, I realized that I don't have the headrests on the back seats because it's better visibility. I folded the cargo part down, and I never put the headrest back on. And I was looking at those, going, I could sell those. I never use them. And I looked them up on eBay, and they're practically brand new because nobody sits back there. And they're worth like $75 a piece. So I'm
oh
like,
yeah.
yep, those are going up on eBay tomorrow.
Well, and that's it, Suzanne, it's such a lifestyle that we have.
Mhm.
We look at things differently. And listening to the podcasts and some of your stories with other people, my parents are those, post-war parents that depression kids that they have everything and they have too much of everything. And I'm starting to try to those conversations. And it was interesting at my visit this last week. My mom actually gave me some things to put on eBay because
Mhm.
I've been working on her for a while. And I'm like, you need to do this. This is money that could help you. You
Mhm.
just need to let go a little bit. And so I called her yesterday. I was like, Mom, guess what? One of your My Little Ponies already sold for $40.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And so she was like, Really? She goes, You know what? I have a whole box of those
Yeah,
somewhere.
more of that. Yeah. Oh, welcome to the dark side.
I know, I know.
So, what year were you born?
I was born in 68.
Okay, so you're 2 years younger than me. Okay, so our parents are probably about the same age. Yeah, just so much accumulation, and we don't want their stuff, and our kids don't want their stuff. And I think it's that mentality of don't let go because you might need it later, because they lived through that, and it's totally understandable. But just everything's different now, and you can replace anything pretty much in 20 minutes,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
need to. But so is your mom's house like a treasure trove for you to go hunting through?
It's interesting because it's very overwhelming for me.
Hmm.
Just knowing that uh, it's going to be something I'm going to have to handle, at one point. And I look at it as their life. They a couple years ago, I went to a funeral with my mom back where she grew up in West Virginia, and they were so poor. I never understood that part of my mom's life until I took that journey back with her. And I understand more now as to what they came from and the stories that I've encountered now. It makes a whole different appreciation for this is how they viewed wealth. This is how, they're, even she said something about, we've made a successful life. You can see it all around us. And I was kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. Interesting.
So that's their comfort zone is stuff.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Emptiness and space probably makes them nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that there's any of that, but
Well, I know. It's just interesting because if that generation will start to let go a little bit, how much income some things could provide, and then it doesn't fall on the next generation to handle everything once they're gone, because you really need them there telling you the stories of the items and explaining where this came from and what this is and what it means. And when once you know that, you might not want to sell that item. You might want to keep it, but that's the hard part after they're gone, is making those decisions and trying to um, decide in a way that would make them happy. Like, what would my mom want me to do with these things? And because it is so overwhelming to go through all of that. And it's probably, have they lived in the same house a really long time?
yes, it's a time capsule.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. And just, you don't realize the accumulation. It's just a slow growth over decades. And anyway, everybody knows
Yeah.
this already. I know. It's just when you're going through it, it's real personal. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, some of the things that we can tell people, it's going to happen. So the question is, whether it's your parents or a spouse's parents or someone, it's going to happen. So the question is, how can you try to prepare for it? How can you, I came home with a garbage bag of stuff. It's just one small step, but
Mhm.
hopefully she will see that and start to she was so excited when her My Little Pony sold that I'm hoping that when I get there the next time, there'll be another box to take.
That's usually the way it goes. Once they see the results, then the wheels start turning about what else do I have?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it makes it easier to part with things once you see that money coming in.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And it helps me with consistency of sourcing because I always try to keep a diverse uh, inventory.
Mhm.
I'm not all clothing or not all housewares, and I try to I think so many people have said, well, I'll sell anything, and it's pretty much that, going through and finding sourcing. And one of the things I wanted to say is, being in South Texas is really different for sourcing. And I know that sounds kind of strange, but I hear you talking about the store that you go to, and I don't want to name it because here it is not a treasure trove.
Mhm.
It is very opposite. And you can find things sometimes.
Mhm.
It's very picked over. And I really think some of it is our proximity to Mexico.
Mhm.
There's people that come in and buy in bulk and take across the border. Um, but what we found as far as sourcing is small independent shops, the charity shops, the estate sales,
Mhm.
some garage sales, not as much. It really kind of depends. And then about a month ago, I actually had a family from church came and brought me like 8 boxes of stuff that was left over from an estate sale. And
Oh,
they're like,
wow.
here, it's yours. And they're like, if you want it, keep it. If not, get rid of it. And so I've been slowly going through that. And, but we have a bins here too.
Mhm.
But I'm not a big digger.
Mhm.
I'll kind of every once in a while go in just for fun and watch people and kind of see how it goes. And I'll kind of scan the tops of the bins and
Mhm.
every once in a while I'll find something that's worth bringing home and putting up. But it's more entertainment for me because I am not one of those that's going to fight over something in a
Mhm.
end of a bin.
Yeah, you have to have the personality for it, I think. And that's what I was going to say. It's, the bins are so versatile. It's for shopping or entertainment. Why pay
Yes.
$10 to go to the movies when you can just go to the bins and watch people?
you know it's interesting. I have a good bin story. One time I was there and I don't know, I was looking through one particular bin and this lady had found, I don't know, it was a Monster High, like kind of like a Barbie dream house, but for Monster High. And it had all these pieces. And I saw a piece in the bin over here and she saw a piece. And by the end of it, we found every piece to that little thing for her. And
Uh-huh.
it was like, she's like, well, thank you for helping me. And I'm like, hey, I don't mind. I'm here anyway. So
It just comes naturally
yeah,
sometimes. I'm
yeah.
that person
So
in the thrift store and, I'm looking through like the hard goods and, oh, I just saw a bowl like that. Let me go get that one and put it with this one. And then I see another one and I'm like unconsciously organizing everything. And I can't help it. It's like, well,
yeah,
somebody's going to come along and they're going to want all those and they're going to be together. Well, maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know, but I just
yeah.
can't help it.
I understand.
So back to your mom's house. As slow as she allows you to do it, it's still a great learning opportunity to see things that you might not see other places, estate sales, thrift stores, and learn on those items. So in the future, so it's just free learning, I think.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things that uh, we have to, I guess, hone our skill in the sense that, and that's what I appreciate about the Facebook page, the YouTube videos, and all of that, and the premium library is that you have to know because someone else, you could have 10 people go buy the same item and just not know
Mm-hmm.
what I know, and I know, hey, that's worth $100. It's going in my basket. And I think that's the part of it. I would have never known about My Little Ponies if I wouldn't have seen it on the Facebook page. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I would have thought, and this little pony needed a lot of help. I actually took a before picture in case so we're still doing the before and after
Oh, okay.
because it was like, oh my goodness. It had been in a bin outside and just was horrible. And I got it clean and it looked beautiful when I sent it off. And but that's the thing. You got to keep learning because you never know. And my mom owned a daycare center for 40 years.
Oh gosh.
And so when she retired, she just basically locked the doors.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of that is still there. And it's all there. And so
Oh.
uh yeah, it's in her basement. And so she has a 2,000 square basement that she used to keep kids in. And I came home with a rainbow bride and I came home with a
Oh.
permit. And I mean, it was like, oh my, and I've had to actually look everything up because, I Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle from the 90s was,
Mm-hmm.
but it's teaching me also as I look each one of those things up.
Mm-hmm. Right. And back to the cleaning the My Little Pony, that concept didn't really take off in the group, the poster before and afters. And I think it's because you got to remember to take that before picture.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of interest in people wanting to see examples, but not as much people posting them. So post it anyway. Just say, hey, this is the before and after. And if it's listed or if it's sold, whatever. yeah, feel free to share that anyway, and how you cleaned it, what you did. Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about some things that you've sold, some interesting stories or your best sales or whatever you think is valuable
Yeah.
information.
So, we don't do a lot of high dollar sales. I mean, we're trying to build to some of those, but we do a lot of bread and butter items,
Mhm.
shoes, clothes, those kinds of things. I have been dabbling my toe in plush. So I've
Okay.
been, that's been a nice little change. And I love the fact that the shipping is so much easier.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it is. And they're fast to list. You don't have to do all the, well, I still do measurements just to make sure that, they know it's the 6-inch one and not the 12-inch one or whatever.
right.
But yeah, just most of them, you just put them in a pillowcase and wash them in the washing machine, and they're very easy and fast.
Yeah, and that's something that I've enjoyed lately. One of our more unusual sales was a pair of vintage wooden water skis.
Okay.
That was real interesting to ship because we had to franken box that.
Huh.
Um, but we didn't know what they were. Beautiful, beautiful redwood. I polished them and everything, and I ended up taking the pictures out in my lawn on the grass because it just was such a contrast.
Hmm.
And those sold for over $300
Oh,
for,
that's great.
yeah, yeah. And then
I think
another
I learned to
one.
ski on wooden ones.
Uh-huh.
Our family didn't have a boat, but I had several friends that did, and I got invited along and was taught, they taught me how to water ski, and I think they were wooden.
Yeah,
That would have
yeah,
been back in the late 70s, early 80s.
yeah. These were probably 70s, I think.
Mhm.
They were still in complete working order. They looked like they had been in someone's garage for years, and beautiful, beautiful wood.
And would you wax them?
I cleaned them first with
Well, not
just a
you.
regular.
I
Oh,
think I remember my friend's dad would be working on the skis and wax them and make them real slick and shiny, and yeah.
I think so. I think so because they do that a lot with surfboards too. So
Okay, right. Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting find. Now, does your husband help with the shipping any?
he's the shipping department.
Okay, there you go.
So he would take pictures for a while, and he kind of got bored with that. And so primarily now I do the pictures and the listing, and he does kind of the inventory management and shipping.
Mhm.
And it works for us. And uh, it just kind of, as far as the shipping, some things we try to pre-pack. We don't do a lot of that, but if it's just really heavy, then we do that, especially since the new shipping changes and everything. We don't want to be caught off guard
Mhm.
with any shipping changes. Anything, especially like our breakables, and it also helps us to keep them safe,
Right.
while they're still here.
Yeah. Okay, and you started to talk about another sale.
We actually found a Navy kilt, a U.S. Navy a kilt with the bag and the belts and everything, and that was kind of. I thought my husband was crazy when he came home with that one, and I was like, "This is too specific a niche. There's not going to be a lot of people that need this." And come to find out, it's kind of one of those things. We price it high, see what happens. I think we priced it for 250 or yeah, 200 or $250. We ended up selling it for 150.
Mhm.
And so it took it maybe about 3 months,
Mhm.
but it sold really well. I would have never even looked at it and thought Navy, but it was some kind of they apparently have I guess bagpipes, and some of them wear the kilts on
Oh,
different
like in the Navy
exercises.
band.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, and I'm thinking costume theater, maybe reenactments. It could be any
Yeah.
of those things, which here in the South, that Civil War reenactment stuff is a big deal. I'm sure this kilt wasn't from the Civil War. I'm just saying that, like that scene in Sweet Home Alabama, where she tried to go find her dad on the battlefield. It's like there's a lot of battlefields around here where I live, and I like Kennesaw, and they have these things, and they got to get their costumes somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
And unless they're having them made to be replicas, but I can certainly see people that even collect that kind of stuff. They're just interested in it. So yeah, but not many people would quote need a Navy kilt.
That's true.
Want one.
Yeah, that's true. The one that we just sold this last week was very interesting, that we got in a bag sale at one of our local charity thrift stores. Was a soup terrine china underplate. It was I know, it's like, what? It was basically a big round plate, and it had a lip in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew it was, I can't remember if it was Lennox Wedgwood. It was a name brand. So we had turned it over. It was just the plate. We didn't know exactly what the plate was. And so the bag sale was like $2.50 for everything we could stuff in a bag. And so we put it in there and thought, well, we'll see. Well, then replacements.com didn't have any. eBay didn't have it. No one had this plate, this under the soup terrine base.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, okay, well, we'll put it high and see what happens. And we sold it for $170 last
Nice.
week. So yeah, that was a nice. Had it maybe 4 or 5 months, I think, somewhere in there.
Was it very ornate or plain looking?
It was kind of plain.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something that I would have just kind of came out and, really pretty. It was cream colored. I think it had like a gold rim. It wasn't Eternity from Lennox, but it was a simple pattern.
So somebody probably had that soup terrine, and somehow their base got broken and they need a new one, and they entertain, and it was a need. And so there you go.
Yeah.
You just never know what somebody's going to need to replace at any given moment.
Yeah. And then there was another one that not too long ago, same place, our same little thrift store that we went to, we bought a bag of those embroidery leaflets. They used to come out for stockings and all kinds of different things. And they're only a couple pages for different projects. And there was a whole stack of them. So we put that in our bag. And it ended up being pretty much the whole bag. And we sold those in a lot for $140. And those went to Japan.
Wow.
Which was interesting. Yeah.
Well, and I just made the seller shout out video today and had one of your items in there, the beads in the little packets.
Oh, yeah. The embroidery beads.
Yeah. And to look at it, unless you're a crafter and you know how much these things cost, you would think that's just junk. That's nothing. And it's just these little packets, like an inch by an inch, something like that. With a bunch of little embellishments and beads and sparkly things. And you said you paid like $1.50.
Oh yeah, it was nothing.
They sold for $40.
Yeah. It was part of a craft bag, bag sale at an estate sale. And I just kind of threw stuff in there, and they were all in this bag. And, I had them for a while, and I just hadn't gone through that stuff. And sometimes it's like, oh, and, but I went through it, and I looked them up, and I was like, oh my, these are brand new in the package. And apparently they're not sold in the stores anymore. And so that made them, I wish I'd, priced them a little higher, but I just didn't really know.
Well, because you know what? Nothing's in the stores anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Every time I go to, look for something, Bed Bath and Beyond or Target, other than groceries, and grocery has its problems too, but it's just like there's nothing in there. I went to a newly remodeled Bed Bath and Beyond, and they used to just have like half the store was towels, bathroom stuff, and it's down to this tiny little section now. So the in-person shopping experience has drastically changed since COVID. And, why bother going even just to look around? I was looking for a specific item that I wanted to test out before I bought it, an electronic item, and just to see, which one do I like and that kind of thing. And they didn't have any. The shelves were empty. And it wasn't because it was a new store. It had been open a while, but I just couldn't figure it out. Like, there's just nothing in the stores anymore. So yay for us. Put it online.
Oh yeah. And I mean, there's things in the store that we can't get in the stores that, are so specific. I ended up buying a part this week for this tiered like serving tray that is circa 70s. I am talking psychedelic. It will sell. It's just a matter I needed a new tier little I guess stand for the middle. And I found one on eBay. And it's like that's the first place I go as well these days.
I love that when you're trying to make something complete or it's missing a piece, just go on eBay and spend a little bit more money to repair or complete the item, and then you get your money back when you sell it. But a lot of people don't even think to do that. They're like, oh yeah, I guess I could, go buy the lid for that, or the, this little part that it needs, whatever. So that is a good strategy. If you can, you got to make the numbers work. You don't want to end up in the negative, but a lot of people don't even think to do that.
Well, this was just so different, and it's so retro bohemian looking that it'll be interesting to see if it sells.
Okay. Yeah. You've got a good eye for stuff. Now, how many items do you have listed?
Right now we have about 770. And, we're in the growth mode right now. I'm trying to, because I'm off for a little break during the summer, I'm trying to list more, but I list every day. I manicure current listings every day. Try to go in multiple times a day for offers and those kinds of things to keep the, algorithm, keep everything active.
Yeah. Do you go back and end and restart and tweak listings?
Yes, I do at least 10 a day. So I try to do some in the morning and some in the evening. And sometimes during my lunch break, it just kind of depends on what's going on.
Do you have a strategy for which ones you choose to rework?
I look at the ones that are ending soonest, and then I go in and I just kind of choose the older ones. Now, from this group, we did learn about the private SKU in the eBay where you can put your notes in, and we've used that really well. We put the date it was originally listed, we put the price we paid for it, and where it's located in inventory. So that gives us, at a glance in the system, I can look and say, oh, well, this is a year old, I'm willing to take an offer for this just to get it gone. Or this is only a week old. It just it helps us make those decisions on the offers and whether we want to run a sale or not.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. I mentioned I was doing my inventory, and some items are getting pitched because it's never had an offer, no interest. I had a vintage 80s Reebok jacket, and I thought that would be a good seller. And I had it over a year and a half, and I just kept restarting it every 3 months, and nothing, no offer, nothing. And So, okay, I don't look at that anymore. Get rid of that. And then things will surprise you that you've had for 2 years and just they sell at full price. Just all of
Yeah.
a sudden somebody needs it.
Yeah, it's, there's no rhyme or reason sometimes.
No, I wish we just had a crystal ball and we could see into the future, how's this going to work? But I usually look at before deciding to discard something, if it's had much attention, offers, and if I've sold that thing before or regularly. Like certain brands of plush sell regularly, so I don't give up on those. But a lot of times I'll buy something just to see. I wonder what'll happen if I list this, and it's a fail. It doesn't work sometimes, but that's how you find the new avenues. Is you
Right.
got to keep trying new stuff all the time.
Well, and that's where, some of our inventory does need to go away. And I, need to do inventory. Have I done it? No. But I think that also gives us the opportunity to run sales and coupons and keep, more activity going to the store so that you can really, it may not be what they want at this moment, but they may see something else. And so I like having some of that, I don't want to say dead weight type of stuff, so that, if I want to put 75% off on it just to get rid of it, yeah, it gives it a good, I don't know, traffic.
Well, and you've already done the work. So
Yeah.
you've taken the pictures, you've listed it. So you got to give it enough of a chance. But don't dread doing inventory, because the way I do it, I mean, it takes me all month. Several days a week, I'll just grab a bin and physically lay eyes on the item, make sure it's in my spreadsheet, make sure it's listed, and put it aside. And I mean, you can do this when you're watching a movie or whatever. But you're going to find things that aren't listed that you thought were. And so far, I've been through 200 listings, and I have found 8 items that were not listed that add up to over $500.
Wow.
So it's kind of like a little treasure hunt in your own house. It's like, and I was like, no wonder, I thought that would have sold. No wonder it didn't sell. It's not even listed. And it's just this crazy eBay glitchy thing that listings drop off and there's no rhyme or reason to it. A few of the items were returns, and I know I listed them again. So I don't know if somehow they get flagged and then they drop off, but they're all in different categories, all price points, listed at all different times of the year. It just happens. Stuff just drops off. So maybe do like a inventory challenge. People feel like you have to do it in one day. No, it takes a long time. You have to just go through a bin every other day, and once you start finding things that aren't listed and put them over there in that pile, you are motivated to go through the rest. What else do I have that's not listed? And that's where I am right now. I'm on what I call inventory lockdown. I have not been shopping in 3 weeks because I'm doing this process and getting things that listed that I thought were listed so they can sell. I mean, it's a time management thing, trust me, I want to be out there. I'm thinking, oh, all this stuff's getting donated and I'm not getting it, but I got stuff right here in my house that needs to be listed.
Exactly. And I know that we talk about death piles and wealth piles and all that. We try not to keep, but frankly, all of us love the fun of the chase. And that's the hardest part, in the sense that once you get it home, you got to do something with it.
Yeah, you're not going to make any money if you don't get it listed.
Right. And so that's we really try, and during COVID we did have more inventory than we needed. So we didn't have to go out and purchase anything. But with that being said, that's not something that I'm really trying to keep us, since we downsized, within a certain realm as far as where eBay goes in the house.
and to keep it moving.
Right.
And, I've been taking low offers on things that just to get them out of here, bulky things that take up room, or I've had it for a long time, or maybe I overestimated how much they would sell for. And that's okay. I'll sell 100 items at $20. That's fine. So you said you don't specialize in any particular category?
No, but we do have categories that are more abundant for us that we tend to have probably more than the average bear. And that's very like Western clothes. We're in Texas, so
Uh-huh.
Western clothes, a lot of cowboy boots,
Oh, nice.
those type of items we tend to keep probably more than our share, but it's always been a good seller for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my husband kind of has an eye for the boots as to
Mm-hmm.
what sells and what doesn't. I will tell you that I really want to get out of the shoe business. For
Okay.
some reason, shoes do not make me happy. And it's kind of one of those things that we don't have a lot of shoes, but and my husband really does clean them and do what needs to be done. It's just I think where it comes from is the recommended listing requirements,
Mm-hmm.
because inevitably I forget to put either the UK size or the European size, or and then I have that little notice that
Mm-hmm.
stands there that says, "Oh, you need more recommended item specifics," and it just does not make me happy.
And that is so annoying because I try to keep mine cleaned out too, but there's just some things that you're not going to be able to fill in, character and theme. And some of those just don't apply to certain items. Like if you're listing a bra, there's no character, there's no theme.
Right.
But so why do they have those blanks, those boxes, if they're not going to be used most of the time?
Yeah, that's probably one of the things that frustrates me the most, but we move forward as we need to.
Do you have any goals for, you said you're in inventory building mode, where you want to get to?
At this point, uh it's not really about the number of listings, and I know we talk about sell-through rates and everything, because I'm going to be taking in a lot of my mom's inventory. I don't, as far as numbers go, I think I'd like to get between 1,000 and 2,500,
Mm-hmm.
or not 25, 1,000 and 1,250. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of, I'd like to get there and see what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same sense, I want to have quality items.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to just put it on for no reason. And so it's a balance. To me, it's more about the sales
Mm-hmm.
and consistently building that dollar amount.
Mm-hmm. So what is your definition of a sell-through rate?
It's not what they have.
Yeah, I think those numbers are completely useless because
Yeah.
um, they're basing it on sales across all sellers, and we all have different philosophies. Some people list everything on auction for $10 and take what they get. Other people wait 2 years. And so if you are more of a slow dime person, then the sell-through rate is meaningless.
Right.
It's all about what humans are doing with their eBay business. Did somebody just take a low offer because they didn't have any sales that day? Are they getting out of the business and liquidating? When you go look at those prices on TerraPeak doing your research, and numbers are all over the place, it's because of the human element. And it has nothing to do, I don't think it has as much to do with the buyer as it does with what the seller is doing. So when you talk about sell-through rates, it's more like what works for you,
Right.
and do more of that.
The thing that I like about, something that after this last year and talking about taxes and getting ready for the new year, I've really started watching our numbers. And so I watch what we're selling, how much we're paying in fees. Our promoted listings have changed dramatically. Some we're not using at all, and some very little.
Mhm.
We've changed that because of the fee structure. It's not affected our sales. Our sales have still been solid. And
Mhm.
so as long as that continues, I think we will continue that practice of doing small or none. It really kind of depends. But my goal is kind of a 3-month window. I'd really like to see everything sell within 3 months.
Mhm.
Now that's unrealistic for some things because of either the price or the nature. But like I said, my goal is dollars increased, not necessarily if I can increase dollars with less listings, then I'm all for that.
Mhm.
But I also know I have to have those bread and butter items so that when those large items are not selling, especially with the changing economy right now,
Mhm.
I think we've got to be able to bob and weave. We've got to diversify so that we can keep our business thriving.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. And I sold 2 items in June for over $100, which May was terrible for me. But, you know, on the one hand, sales were slow, but then here comes this person that bought a hat for $120, a beach hat, and then somebody bought a quilt for $125. And those aren't essential items. That was just something those people wanted. But then you can hardly give away a $30 bathing suit. I don't think I sold any swimwear in June.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's just, I think it's unfigure outable. It's just keep going, look at what's selling, do more of that, pay attention to the offers. If you keep getting offers around the same price, then you've got it priced too high. You've got to look at what the market will bear and decide if you're okay waiting for that slow dime or not.
Yeah, I agree. And as we a lot of we all have our own inventory and our own business, and and that's kind of probably I know you always ask for advice for eBay sellers, and that for me is one, keep learning,
Mm-hmm.
always keep learning, whether it's a Facebook or the premium library or whatever. The set goals, always have a goal. Don't, it may not be listings, it may be, you never know. But if it's just to stay the same, learn something, continue to grow your business, evolve per se, because eBay's going to leave us behind if we don't.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to continue to evolve. And how many of us were so mad whenever we had managed payments? And now, I kind of love just seeing that deposit show up in my bank account every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
and you
don't
don't
have
have
to
to
deal with
worry.
PayPal
Yeah, you
and
don't have to worry about a big bill at the end of the month of your fees. And
yeah.
you know, and you've been on eBay since 2001. I started 2 years after that. And the changes we've seen, just getting rid of the ability to leave negative feedback for buyers. So many sellers left when eBay did that. And when Amazon opened up to third party sellers, people left in droves. And it's adapt or die. Things are going to keep changing. I'm waiting for the new listing form to become mandatory because it's so slow for me. I'm not used to it. And so I'm just going to keep doing it the old way. And they are working out more bugs to make it flow better, but there's all those windows you have to uncollapse and things just aren't as obvious. So it's frustrating when you're used to doing something so fast and then you have to, like do it
See, and I
backwards.
do I do a very hybrid type of listing. And so I initially list from, I create from my phone, and then I work from my iPad in the living room,
Mhm.
and on the app. And then I list on the desktop, which sounds like a ton of work.
Mhm.
But I take my iPad to work with me. So during my lunch break, or if I have a moment, I can manicure listings or do whatever. And it's just a portable way that I can stay connected. And that has worked for me. And I love the push, the touchscreen attributes of listing.
Oh, on your iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a good point. I'm kind of like you. I start off at my desktop in the morning and work until about 1:30 or 2, take a break, eat lunch, do errands, whatever. And then in the afternoon, I get on the laptop and I'm in the family room in the recliner.
Yeah.
You got to have a change of scenery. So, and then that's when I'm either listing or setting up things for videos or ending and restarting, like stuff that doesn't take a whole lot of concentration, is later in the day. And then sometimes I'll do some at night after dinner, but I'm trying more to get off the computer, no screens 2 hours before bed. Because I used to just be a workaholic because it's endless. You can be a workaholic, but then I would go to bed and like my mind is racing and I can't sleep. And it's like my body's tired, but my mind won't stop. And, too many ideas, too many things going on.
Yep. I understand.
So
I'm the same way.
I'm really trying to, take that time to quit and then drink some chamomile or valerian tea and like really maybe take a salt bath and like really bring it down in the evening. Because this will run you crazy if you're just like, oh, I got to list this, I got to do that. And there's just so much to do. And you can even go shopping tomorrow. And what am I going to find? And where am I going to go? And
yeah,
it's endless.
Boundaries you have to have boundaries. And that's one of the things about, I'm trying to keep our eBay business per se, the listing and the photographs and everything in one area, so that the rest of the house is basically eBay free, and it doesn't have that eBay creep from one room to the other, just so that we can continue to have a normal life. Because it's been, downsizing has been hard trying to process that. And I'm a very process oriented person. So I want to know, okay, it's here, it goes from here to here to, kind of thing. So,
yeah. And clutter is energetically draining. So you want as much as you can to either have your stuff in a different room or hidden from view, those under the bed boxes, cabinets, whatever you're doing, so that you're not looking at it all the time. I find that once I got all my stuff out of view, like if you came into my home, you would not know I'm an eBay seller because everything is out of plain view. So after years and years of just having those clear tubs with everything in it stacked to the ceiling, it's like, it's nice not to have to look at it all the time.
You're my goal. I need to, I quilt too. So, I kind of tend to hoard fabric. So, cause it just is so pretty. So it's just, the downsizing has been so hard. And we're going to have to do another kind of cleanse before long, because we didn't downsize enough when we did. We just didn't know. And so we went from about 2,500 square feet down to 1,500. And so it was,
that's a big jump.
Yeah, it was a big jump. And so we're still kind of trying to, we still don't know, okay, well, where's that casserole dish go in the kitchen? It's like, wait a minute, it goes there. No, it goes over here. So,
well, and speaking of crafts, I was big into that in the late 80s, 90s, up until I started having kids and didn't have time for it anymore. But that's endless too, because, oh, I want to make this, I want to do that. Oh, that's beautiful, I want to make that. And you have, probably hundreds of projects in your mind that you want to do. And it's just the aspect of creating is so fulfilling when you finish something, but you know, oh, this is on sale, this is on clearance, and I could use this. And I totally get that, because it's hard not to, because it's pretty, it's fun, it's engaging, and you're satisfying your sense of creativity. So,
well, and I usually gift. I've only ever kept one of my quilts, and I gift them to people in my life. And so, and my daughter quilts, and she's a senior in high school. She's been doing it since she was 8.
Oh my.
And so she actually, our county fair last year, she won grand champion for her quilt. And
congratulations, that's wonderful.
Well, I'm hoping it'll end up being a scholarship this year. So,
okay.
but we'll see. So
there was a quilting scholarship.
There is a scholarship for homemaking, which is various, including like foods and all of it. And so the top winners get a scholarship. And excellent. So that's her goal. And so she's already working on it.
Well, it sounds like you're balancing everything pretty well, even if you don't think you are.
Some days are good and some days are not so.
Some days you get that $100 sale and no returns and a bunch of good feedback. And then some days it's the opposite.
Yep.
And some days item comes back.
Well, and that $100 item sometimes is like, okay, honey, what are we picking up for dinner?
Right. Yeah. Let's do it.
So,
okay. Well, we have been going for about an hour, so it's time to wrap it up. You already did your giving advice part, so I don't have to ask you that, but thank you for working with me on scheduling this, because we had a little bit of trouble getting everything coordinated, because you're busy, it's summer, I'm busy, like we finally connected. So that was great. And I know you got a bunch of things going on today. So any last words?
I just appreciate you for what you do and the community that you've created, because, you know, that community helps all of us. And it is just so valuable, because, and I know you probably felt this over the years, is you almost, when you've been doing it as long as we have, you've kind of felt like you're an island. You know, well, I don't think anybody else does this. Am I that weird person, you know? And it's just so nice to see other people that do this and that are successful.
Mm-hmm. And they understand your good days and your bad days. You know, I used to come home with things and be, oh, look what I found. And my kids are like, what's for dinner? You know, they don't care. They don't know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So it's kind of isolating. And that's why I do these podcasts, because even though the listeners can't jump in the conversation with us, they're nodding and saying, yep, that's happened to me. And I get that. So we are all on the same page, and it's good to have that community to either celebrate with you or commiserate with you.
Well, thank you, Suzanne.
So thanks for coming on, and we'll see you on the group.
Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, another seller chat in the books. It was great to finally meet Kim face to face after all this time of seeing her on Facebook. Moving on to today's trivia question. How and when did the Sears catalog get started? Here are 5 seconds to think it over. Okay, the answer. Back in the 1880s, when railroads were established as a mode of transportation and delivering goods, Richard Sears was a railroad station agent. Back in the day, there was no standard time. Time was not kept consistently. Everybody just kept time the way they wanted to, and it was very confusing, especially with trains coming and going. In 1888, Sears started selling watches as a side job. He partnered with Alva Roebuck, a watchmaker. Then they saw the perfect conditions to start a mail order catalog selling anything and everything. The railroads were established. They could reach people in remote locations that had limited access to mass-produced goods. The Industrial Revolution had already happened, and goods were being mass-produced in factories. So it was the perfect marriage of products, distribution, and customers. So that was one of those things. It was all about timing, a great idea at the right time. The two people got together and took action and made it happen. So that story is explained in the Men Who Built America, which is one of my favorite historical series. It's on Amazon. It's everywhere by now. It's even on YouTube. So I love those little backstories about how these iconic companies got started. Okay, thanks again for tuning in, and I'll be back next week with another dose of eBay chatting for your listening pleasure. Make it a great day on eBay. Keep going, and I'm out here rooting for you every day. Talk to you next week. Bye.